Hello and good evening. I am Ron Bergh. I reside here in Mountain Home, Idaho. I am a full-time farmer. We grow hay and sugar beets. And outside of that, I am a semi-professional amateur part-time race car driver. This year, I'm going to focus on the 360 sprints, the micro sprints, and then in the local class, I'll focus on my B mod as well. What got me into racing? Back a couple years ago, I stopped in at CNA Automotive and talked to Eric Barsness, who was taking over the track at that point. And that's when old Bob McNamara told me for $300 I had a '93 Honda Accord. And that was the first car I jumped into in the Enduro class, and it kind of snowballed from there. As for my favorite class to race in, I would have to say the sprint cars, just because of the feeling you get when you're making that left-hand corner and it has got you pushed back into that back right-hand corner of your seat, just hanging on, running fast and loose and on the edge, out of control. That is a irreplaceable feeling that doesn't happen many other places. It's kind of like it's riding a roller coaster for some people, but roller coasters make me sick. I'd much rather be in a race car. As for my greatest achievement in racing, the ability to mechanic is a huge one. Be able to swap a motor out of a car and throw a motor in a car that wasn't built for that car, that's a big one. Financial wise, I say my best moment in racing was Micro Sprint here in town, sponsored by Bob McNamara. That one, I wasn't the fastest car, but being the older, intelligent guy of the three of us racing, I let the young kids get out front and beat themselves around and happened to be in the right place at the right time to be there on the checkered flag. And so that's a good one there. As far as my personal achievement in driving, I would say feature win down in Elko in the micro sprint class. That's a pretty good one for me. Looking back on my racing career, I would start with the scariest time, I would say, is in the micro sprints, where those cars, you can be going around a corner 1 minute and half a second later you're backwards looking at the people coming at you. There in Mountain Home, corner number 2, micro sprints, probably the first lap. I think I started out front, come around corner number 2, and next thing I knew, I was backwards looking at Jake Paul and VJ Knott coming right at me. Luckily, they're pretty good wheelman and able to get around me, kept from piling us up and got straightened out and got that one going. As for the funniest moments, I'm going to go back to the beginning, fairly close to the beginning. I was running a 99 Chevy Cavalier that my daughter's now running in the Junior Hornet class. But there was a short stretch there where I could not keep a right front tire on that car to save my life. 3 races in a row, doing good, got the lead, come around the corner and there goes a right front. And the cameraman just happened to be there every time to catch that car in the corner with the tire airborne. So it was a big accomplishment to get to that 4th race and finish with all 4 tires on. There's some cars you can finish with 3 tires, but on a front wheel drive you can't go without a right front. And definitely figured that one out. So that's probably the funniest. If I wasn't racing, it's hard telling what I'd be doing. Prior to racing, going back a long ways, I grew up in a race family. I got 3 brothers. And at one point, there were 5 of us racing motocross. One of us was always hurt. We had a punch card at the hospital. Your 10th visit's free. But we got out of that, and I didn't realize how much I missed racing until I got back into the cars. The little in-between there was riding snowmobiles in the wintertime. That's where I got my adrenaline from. But that was a very short 2-3 month period. And then just back to farming. So I would say if I wasn't racing, I'd probably still be hitting the snowmobiles pretty hard and probably be a grumpy old farmer. As I progressed through the different classes. You know, started in the Enduro class in the old 93 Accord, jumped into the 99 Cavalier and the Hornet class. Those were all fun, but always wanted to take the next step, wanted to get in the next class. You know, went from the Hornet class and jumped up to a hobby stock class and figured if I'm at the racetrack, I might as well get a bomber car, so get some more laps in. So jumped in one of those as well. This last season was able to jump in the micro sprints, the 360 sprint, and also the modified. So I guess what drives me to keep going is to want to make that next step, you know, get a little bit faster. To give some thanks out there, you know, the first and foremost goes to my family. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today racing. They're very supportive of what I do, both being there for me and financially helping with the support of the farm. Outside of that, I got to go back to Eric Barsness of CNA. If he hadn't taken over the track, I probably wouldn't be racing today. Wouldn't be buying these cars, wouldn't be getting ready to go racing. Outside of that, definitely my kid, you know, she's there supporting me. Happy to see her running as well. Anyone that is there helping me, whether it's the guys I'm calling up, the old dogs that I meet that say, hey, you know, call me up anytime and I'll give you the specs on this car that you got from me. And they're all happy to help. I have yet to run into someone in the race world that isn't supportive, that isn't willing to share their, quote, you know, secrets to set up a car to do good. Oh, if you want to get into racing, you know, just do it. You know, I thought car racing was something that most people can't do because of price. And then I come across these enduro races in the Hornet class and found out that for a small amount of money, you can get into a car and then you can take it as far as you want to go. If you want, you can stay in the Hornet class and do it on a fairly tight budget and not spend too much money and make it happen. You know, that's one thing that I'm excited about, having a few extra cars. If anyone ever comes to me and says, hey, you know, I'm thinking about it, I tell them, come out to a test and tune, we'll get you suited up, jump in a car, see if it fits for you. It either fits or it doesn't. If it does fit, you know, I'm going to do what I can to help get you in a car. As for final thoughts on this, it's just excited for the 2024 season to come along. Get out there in the sprint cars. Yeah, I'm hoping at some point we get the 360 sprints in here to Mountain Home. That'll be a big step. Get those here, but I believe it'll happen. Watching how the Mountain Home Speedway has progressed over the last 3 years has just been an exponential rate of progression. And kudos to Eric Barsness and the races that he runs. After traveling around to a few races, going into California and Nevada and over to Salmon, Atomic City, Mountain Home Speedway is probably the cleanest produced race for spectators, I would say, and that's a big one. As their money goes a long ways, keeps us going.